Hi, I'm Jorge Kono, and today we are diving into the supply chain saga of the PlayStation 5, a console that revolutionized gaming but also became famous for being nearly impossible to find after 2020 release. Gamers worldwide were left frustrated, and I couldn't help but wonder, why was the PS5 so hard to get? Let's unravel the story behind its supply chain and challenges. Imagine this, it's 2021 and my friend has been waiting months for the PS5 he pre-ordered as a birthday gift. And he's not alone. Millions of gamers were stuck in the same situation. Stock shortage dominated headlines, scalpers drove up prices, and frustration grew. The culprit, a global supply chain crisis, particularly a shortage of semiconductor chips, the tiny components that power everything from smartphones to gaming consoles. But why did this happen, and how did it impact Sony's ability to deliver the PS5? That's what we will uncover. The PS5 production relied on semiconductor chips, mostly made in Taiwan and South Korea. In 2020, the pandemic caused factory shutdowns and reduced chip production just as global demand skyrocketed. Remote working, online learning, and increased gaming during lockdowns created a perfect storm. Suddenly, there weren't enough chips for everyone. Phones, cards, laptops, and yes, the PS5. Here's where things got even trickier. Once the chips were produced, they needed to travel to Sony assembly plants in Japan and China. But pandemic restrictions caused port congestions and shipping delays. The result? A console that became a rare commodity. Now, let's take a closer look to the PS5 journey, which spans continents. So, number 1. Chips are manufactured in Taiwan and South Korea. 2. These components are shipped to Sony's assembly plants in Japan and China. And finally, the complemented consoles are transported to major markets like the US and Europe. But every step faced challenges. Factories in Taiwan and South Korea struggled to meet demand. Ports in Asia were overwhelmed, with cargo ships delayed for weeks. Once in transit, labor shortages in the shipping industry added to the chaos. It was a chain reaction of delays. So, why were chips so hard to produce? Number 1. Economic factor. The sudden demand spike overwhelmed production capacity. 2. Political factor. Trade restriction between the US and China disrupted supply chains. 3. Social factors. Pandemic lockdowns and worker safety protocols slowed manufacturing and shipping process. The ripple effects were felt globally, leaving companies like Sony scrambling to adapt. Facing these challenges, Sony took action. At first, Sony started sourcing chips from additional suppliers to reduce reliance on Taiwan. Also, they modified their production schedules, prioritizing high-demand markets like the US and Europe. On top of that, Sony worked with chip manufacturers to increase production for future demand. By late 2023, Sony announced that the PS5 supply chain problems were resolved, and the console became widely available. Their ability to adapt was a testament to the importance of innovation and resilience in global supply chains. The PS5 story highlights how interconnected and fragile global supply chains can be. A tiny semiconductor chip made thousands of miles away can determine whether a gaming console reaches your home. Sony's journey through this crisis teaches us the value of adaptability and forward planning in overcoming supply chain disruptions. Thanks for joining me on this journey, and I hope you now have a clear understanding of why the PS5 was so hard to get. Thank you.